In the early morning at Lui Monastery, a thin mist like sand envelopes the ancient Bodhi tree. Sunlight pierces through the leaves, casting dappled shadows that illuminate the solemn faces of the bhikkhus. They listened quietly to the Buddha's teachings, yet their hearts were stirred by unceasing doubts. Renouncing the world to cultivate the path in seclusion is certainly serene, but how can one practicing within the lay life, immersed in the mundane world, avoid being tainted by worldly defilements? Which path truly leads to the shore of enlightenment? At that moment, layman Vimalakirti, dressed in plain clothes, approached slowly, bearing the same question. His arrival also heralds the imminent commencement of a profound debate concerning the very essence of practice. Sunlight poured onto the grassy field of the deer park as lay practitioner Vimalakirti slowly walked towards the Buddha, who was expounding the Dharma. The surrounding monks all recognized this layman of extraordinary wisdom and respectfully made way for him. Layman Vimalakirti respectfully paid homage to the Buddha in the presence of the assembly. Venerable Shakyamuni, I, your disciple, have a question that I have long wished to ask you. The Buddha looked at this layperson, a treasure to the world who had always maintained a child's innocent heart, and smiled, saying, "Please, layperson, speak." Layman Vimalakirti lifted his head, his eyes clear and bright. The Buddha and his disciples observed that many people believe that only renunciates can truly practice, while lay practitioners are always considered inferior to monastics. They believe that monastics sever worldly attachments and can focus more wholeheartedly on their practice. Those of us who live as lay people are often burdened by family and career responsibilities, making earnest spiritual practice difficult. However, the disciple believes that the essence of cultivation should not lie in external forms, but in the heart. I'm not sure if this way of thinking is correct. The Buddha's gaze swept over everyone present, and he slowly said, "Your question touches the very core of practice. Let me tell you a story that may help you understand better. Long ago, in the city of Rajagaha, there lived two brothers. The elder brother is named Shanming, and the younger brother is named Shanjue. The two brothers have been deeply drawn to the Dharma since childhood, yearning to transcend the suffering of samsara and attain liberation. Upon reaching the age suitable for marriage, Shanming married, had children, inherited his father's trade, and managed a cloth shop. He deeply understands the impermanence of the world and the brevity of life, yet he cannot relinquish his responsibilities toward his family. Shanjue chose to leave the secular life, ordained as a monk to save beings, and became a bhikkhu. He aspires to renounce worldly attachments through monastic practice and attain Bodhi enlightenment at an early date. Although Shanming did not become a monastic, he consistently upheld his practice. He deeply understands the principles of afflictions and Bodhi, realizing that true cultivation is not about escaping reality, but about refining the mind and character within the midst of reality. Every morning, before opening the shop, he recites sutras and meditates, practicing dhyana to purify his mind. While busy managing his business during the day, he would constantly watch over his mind, continually reminding himself not to be tainted by the desire for profit. He strives to remain unmoved by the eight winds, neither rejoicing in favorable conditions nor suffering distress in adverse circumstances. Before resting at night, he reflects on the words and actions of the day, examines where he fell short, and promptly rectifies them. He integrated the Dharma into every detail of his life, striving to practice Zen in his actions, embody Zen in his conduct, and speak without agitation, maintaining a serene and composed body and mind. Layman Shanming's life may appear ordinary on the surface, but is imbued with wisdom of spiritual practice in every aspect. He integrates the Buddha's teaching of the Noble Eightfold Path into every aspect of daily life, using right view as a lamp to illuminate the path ahead, right thought as a sail to guide the course of life, right speech as a mirror reflecting the truth within, right action as practice embodying the bodhisattva's compassion, right livelihood as the foundation nourishing a pure life, right effort as the power advancing the progress of cultivation, right mindfulness as a rope binding the scattered affections of the mind, and right concentration as the base supporting the roots of awakening. He deeply understands that spiritual practice is not about withdrawing from the world, but about refining the mind amidst worldly challenges, transforming afflictions into bodhi. After renouncing the world, the noble Savali was also exceedingly diligent and steadfast in his practice. He strictly observes the precepts, participates daily in the monastic community's offerings, chanting sutras and prostrations to the Buddha, and is diligent and unwavering in his meditation practice. He often retreated to the mountains and forests for austere practice, distancing himself from worldly distractions, wholeheartedly devoted to the Dharma. His body and mind are fundamentally rooted in unsurpassed bodhi. He strictly upholds the precepts, guarding the purity of body, speech, and mind. He strives to purify the 6 sense faculties, remaining unaffected by external conditions. On the surface, his practice life appears more focused and pure, seemingly making it easier to attain the enlightenment of bodhi. The practice of Bhikkhu Shanjue represents another path of cultivation. He purifies his body and mind through keeping precepts, meditation, and wisdom, seeking liberation. Precepts are behavioral guidelines that restrain body and mind, preventing the occurrence of unwholesome actions, serving as the steps leading to liberation. Dhyana, a practice that cultivates concentration and stability of mind, brings inner calm and tranquility and opens the gateway to wisdom. Wisdom is the discerning ability to perceive the true nature of phenomena, dispelling ignorance and afflictions and illuminating the path to liberation. He diligently cultivates the threefold training of morality, concentration, and wisdom, earnestly aspiring to quickly attain enlightenment and be liberated from the suffering of the cycle of birth and death. He deeply believed that only through ordination and dedicated monastic practice could one truly sever worldly attachments and attain liberation. 5 years have passed, and both brothers have attained certain achievements in their spiritual practice. One day, Shanjue returned to the garden in Rajgir and passed by his elder brother's cloth shop. Shanming warmly invited his younger brother into the shop and shared with him the insights he had gained from his years of spiritual practice. Shanjue was quite surprised upon hearing his elder brother's sharing. "Brother, you have to take care of your business every day, worry about your family, and face all kinds of people and matters. How can you still maintain such a good state of practice?" "I spend every day immersed in the temple and garden, always feeling that spiritual practice is not easy. Given that you dwell in the midst of the secular world, isn't it even more challenging for you?" Shanming smiled and said that, in fact, business and family are not obstacles. Rather, they serve as supportive conditions. Every time I encounter difficult customers is a test of my patience and endurance, teaching me to cultivate tolerance and understanding. Every time I encounter illness or injury, it tests my greed. Let me learn to let go and to be content. Taking care of one's wife, children, and elders is practicing the cultivation of loving kindness. Teach me to cultivate compassion and practice selfless giving. All phenomena in the world are places of practice, as long as one earnestly experiences them. Every place can be a field of cultivation. He paused for a moment, then said, "True practice is not about escaping reality, but about tempering the mind and character within reality, blooming like a lotus amidst the worldly dust." The words of layman Shanming reveal the true essence of stillness following the mind's movement. The external environment is not an obstacle to practice, but a field of practice itself. The key lies in how we apply the wisdom of the Dharma to transform these conditions. As stated in the Diamond Sutra, one generates the mind by not abiding anywhere, by not clinging to external conditions. One can thus arise the pure bodhisattva. He understands that true practice is not about changing the environment, but transforming the mindset. Not about escaping reality, but transcending it within reality. While the conversation was ongoing, a customer hurriedly rushed into the shop, saying that he urgently needed a piece of cloth, but did not have enough money on him. Without hesitation, Shanming sold it to him at cost price. The guest was deeply moved and repeatedly expressed gratitude. Layman Shanming's act of generosity exemplified the perfection of giving, one of the 6 paramitas practiced in countless ways. Dana is not merely a material offering, but also a spiritual dedication. It can be the giving of material wealth, helping others overcome life's difficulties, like warmth in the midst of snow. It can be the giving of the Dharma, sharing the wisdom of the Buddha's teachings to help others attain enlightenment, like a lamp illuminating the darkness. It can be the giving of fearlessness, dispelling others' fears and providing a sense of security, like a healing balm soothing wounds. Layman Shanming's act of giving is a manifestation of the Bodhisattva path, embodying compassionate conduct that benefits all sentient beings. Shanjue observed this scene thoughtfully. At that moment, he suddenly remembered something. A few days ago, at the monastery, a fellow monastic had a dispute with him over the issue of sleep duration. He harbored persistent resentment and even developed feelings of hatred toward that monk. Although he resides in a tranquil monastery, his mind is often troubled by defilements. The hatred of the bhikshu Shanjue reflects the presence of the afflictive obscurations. Even in a serene temple, afflictions still arise. This indicates that the key to cultivation lies in subduing the inner afflictions. Greed, hatred, and delusion are the fundamental causes of sentient beings' cyclic existence and also the greatest obstacles to spiritual cultivation. Only through diligent practice can these afflictions be gradually eliminated, leading to the attainment of serene confidence. He realized that although he was residing in the monastery, his mind was not truly pure. He still needed to practice diligently to overcome afflictions and attain enlightenment. At that moment, the Buddha paused and gazed deeply at Layman Vimalakirti. Which of the 2 brothers do you think has superior cultivation? Layman Vimasitra fell into deep contemplation, and the surrounding bhikkhus held their breath in silent attention, awaiting the Buddha's revelation of the answer. This issue not only pertains to the differences in practice between laypersons and monastics, but also touches upon the very essence of cultivation, making it a question that every practitioner should contemplate earnestly. The Buddha then said, "The key to practice lies not in external forms, but in the transformation of the mind. All phenomena are created by the mind. Our world is shaped by the thoughts of our own consciousness. If our mind is pure, then the world we see is also pure. If our mind is defiled, then the world we perceive is also defiled." Although Shanming was engaged in blessing rituals, he treated every ordinary aspect of daily life as an opportunity for practice. He cultivates unwavering practice amidst the daily necessities of life, practices compassion in dealings with others, and cultivates mindfulness in business transactions. He truly accomplished the transformation of the reactive habit energy, converting worldly afflictions into the nourishment for practice. Although Shanjue had renounced the world, sometimes he would instead be constrained by the tranquil environment. When he encounters unfavorable situations, his mind still experiences turmoil. What does this indicate? The key to practice does not lie in leaving the mundane world, but in maintaining awareness in any situation without being swayed by external circumstances. The Buddha's words reveal that the essence of the mind is the truth of the Dharma. The essence of practice lies in awakening the mind and realizing one's true nature rather than in external forms. As stated in the Shurangama Sutra, all sentient beings possess the wisdom and virtues of the Tathagata inherently, but due to delusory thoughts and attachments, they fail to attain right enlightenment. Each of us possesses the potential to attain Buddhahood, but it is obscured by delusions and attachments. Only through practice can one eliminate delusions and attachments, revealing the inherently complete Buddha nature. He emphasizes that true practice is not about seeking external tranquility, but about purifying the inner afflictions, is not about changing the environment, but about transforming the mind. Layman Vimalakirti's eyes lit up upon hearing this, like a lotus flower arising from the mud, yet remaining unstained and pure. The Buddha's tentative nod was exactly so. A true practitioner, whether lay or monastic, should be like the lotus flower. Lay practitioners cultivate their practice amidst the various trials of the worldly life, just as the lotus grows in the mud. Monastics cultivate their practice in a pure environment, just as a lotus blooms in clear water. The key is to maintain a mindful and aware heart, not swayed by external circumstances, so that one can radiate a pure light amid a defiled world. The Buddha, using the metaphor of the lotus flower, vividly expounded the wisdom of practicing both transcendence and engagement in the world. Renunciation is not an escape from reality, but a confrontation of all worldly matters with a pure and tranquil mind. Engaging with the world does not mean being indulgent in worldly affairs, but rather benefiting sentient beings through compassionate actions. A true practitioner can maintain inner purity while actively engaging in society to benefit others, neither firmly detaching from the world nor firmly entangling with it. At this moment, a young bhikkhu could not help but ask, "Shakyamuni, why then should we still renounce the world and become monks? If one can attain bodhi, enlightenment, while practicing at home, what then is the significance of renouncing the household life and becoming a monastic?" The Buddha compassionately said that renunciation and living as a layperson are two paths leading to the same goal, like two rivers that ultimately merge into the great ocean. Some individuals are suited to cultivate in the secular world, practicing Dharma amidst the mundane dust, just as the lotus grows in the mud, revealing its pure and pristine nature more vividly. Some people are suited to practice in a monastery, diligently cultivating in a pure environment, just as the lotus blooms in clear water, revealing its majestic beauty more fully. What is important is to choose the path that suits oneself and diligently advance along this path without ceasing, in order to ultimately reach the shore of liberation. The true essence of practice lies in moment-to-moment awareness of one's mind, introspection of one's true nature, and sincere faith in the supreme path. Householders should perceive prajna amidst daily necessities like firewood, rice, oil, and salt. Cultivate compassion through human relationships and social dealings, and practice patience and forbearance amid afflictions and difficulties. Monastics should clarify their mind and nature through strict adherence to monastic rules and precepts, enhance merit and wisdom through chanting sutras and paying homage to the Buddha, and develop insight through meditation and spiritual practice. No matter which path you choose, always remember, if the mind remains unmoved wherever the body is, that place is a sanctuary. If the mind is pure and tranquil, everywhere is bodhi. The Buddha's words elucidate the principle that the Dharma has no fixed form. The methods of practice vary from person to person. What is important is to find the path that suits oneself. As stated in the Lotus Sutra, one appears in the world due to a great and significant cause. Each person has their own mission and responsibility. One should choose a practice suitable to their innate capacity and circumstances in order to better fulfill their mission and benefit all sentient beings. After hearing the Buddha's teachings, the lay follower Maha felt an inner illumination and clarity. He understood that whether it is through the sutras, daily conduct, observing precepts, or chanting scriptures, these are all skillful means of practice and bridges leading to liberation. The key is to maintain a mindful heart in each of one's own circumstances, not being swayed by external conditions, so as to truly achieve acting in accordance with conditions without changing, and being unchanging while adapting to conditions. The assembled audience was also deeply inspired. They understood that practice does not depend on external appearances, but on the inner mind. It is not about the environment, but about the attitude of the heart. Whether immersed in the mundane world or dwelling in a state of tranquility, one must grasp this key principle, abiding in the direct awareness of ultimate reality and making every place a field of practice. Only then can one continuously advance on the path of life and ultimately attain the enlightenment of Bodhi. Since then, the layman Maha has become even more resolute in his commitment to practice. He engages in worldly pursuits while simultaneously cultivating a mindful heart. His outward life appeared no different from that of ordinary people, yet inwardly he consistently maintained the clarity of meditative concentration. He demonstrated through his own actions that both lay practice and monastic practice are excellent paths to attain the fruition of the Dharma. With sincere practice, one can reach the shore of liberation. The practice of layman Vimalakirti exemplifies attaining the highest stage precisely by not separating from worldly phenomena. He integrated the Dharma into daily life, cultivating his mind and character amidst the mundane world, and ultimately attained the fruition of a bodhisattva. His story inspires countless lay practitioners to courageously cultivate the Dharma in the world, benefit all sentient beings, and become a beacon of light shining through the darkness. This wisdom was later recorded in the Vimalakirti Sutra, becoming an important beginning in the Dharma. He teaches us that the essence of practice lies not in external forms, but in the awareness of the mind. Whether laypeople or monastics, as long as one can maintain right mindfulness in their respective circumstances, one can walk the path of liberation and attain unsurpassed Bodhi. This principle continues to shine with the brilliance of wisdom even to this day. He reminds every practitioner not to cling to external forms, but to focus on the transformation of the inner mind. True practice lies in maintaining a mindful heart in all circumstances, unmoved by external conditions. This is the true meaning of diligence, the foundation of liberation, and the key to attaining unsurpassed Bodhi. The teachings of the Buddha nourish the hearts of all beings like spring rain, making the sunlight of the path even warmer and brighter. The Bhikkhus and layman Vimalakirti continued on their respective paths of practice with a profound understanding of the Dharma. They understand that no matter where they are, as long as there is Buddha in their hearts, everywhere is Bodhi. As long as they diligently cultivate, they will ultimately attain Bodhi enlightenment. How can we find our own path of practice in this noisy world? How can we integrate the Dharma into our daily lives and let the lotus bloom amidst the mundane world? This may be a question that everyone needs to contemplate deeply, and it is a subject we must continually explore throughout our lives. May we all find our own path of practice under the guidance of the Dharma, ultimately attaining Bodhi and benefiting all sentient beings.